This is Butterflies by Roger Dean Kaiser. There was a time in my life when beauty meant something special to me. I guess it would have been when I was about 6 or 7 years old, just several weeks or maybe a month before the orphanage ruined me and made me an old man. Every morning I would get up at the orphanage and make my bed just like the little soldier that I had become. And then I would fall into place in one of the two very straight lines and march to breakfast with the 20 and 30 other boys who also lived in my dormitory with me. One Saturday morning after breakfast, I was returning to my dormitory when I noticed our house parent chasing these beautiful monarch butterflies. I thought, well, this is interesting, so I went to watch. I carefully watched him capturing these butterflies, one by one, these such beautiful creatures. And then he took them out of the net. And I started pinning them and piercing their heads and their wings with straight pins into a cardboard box. And I thought, how cruel is it to kill something of such beauty? And I watched he did this for hours and hours. And finally the telephone rang inside the orphanage. He laid down the cardboard box on the back cement step, and he went inside to retrieve the phone. I took this as my chance to walk up to the cardboard box, and I looked down at the butterfly that he just recently pinned. It was still moving about, so I reached out and touched it by its wing, causing one of the pins to fall off. It started going crazy, trying to break free, but it couldn't because, well, the other wing was still pinned onto the cardboard. Finally, its wing broke off. The butterfly fluttered to the ground and it just quivered, and I watched it as it died. I picked up the butterfly and the wing and tried to get it back together. I spat on it too, but it didn't work. So I just laid it there and I thought to myself, why was he doing this? Why would he harm such a beautiful creature? And I sat there in tears when finally the house parent came back and started yelling at me, and I claimed that I didn't do anything, but he didn't believe me. He picked up the cardboard paper and started hitting me over the head over and over again, saying that all I did was wrong and that I'd ruined his masterpiece. I thought, okay, well, I didn't do anything though, and I kept repeating it to him over and over, but he didn't believe me. Finally, he threw the cardboard paper on the ground, and there were bits of butterfly everywhere around me. He told me to pick it up and throw it in the garbage can behind the orphanage, and he stomped back inside the orphanage. I sat there for a while in the dirt and gathered all of the butterfly bits, trying to piece them together so I could bury them whole, but it was too hard. So I eventually ended up burying them inside an old shoebox out behind the orphanage in the woods, where the big bamboo trees and the blackberry bushes were. And this went on for many months, and every year when the butterflies would return and try to land on my face, my hands, and my head again, I tried to shoo them away. I wasn't like before, because I knew the terrors of the orphanage. I would try to shoo them away because they would need to know that the orphanage was a bad place to live and a very bad place to die.